Some stories are too heavy for a child to carry, yet some children are forced to carry them anyway. This is the true-life journey of a girl whose childhood was stolen, but whose courage rebuilt everything she lost. This is the story of a child marriage survivor who walked through horror and still found hope. Her name was Aisha. At 12 years old, she was like any other child, running barefoot through dusty village roads, laughing with her friends, dreaming of becoming a teacher someday. She loved the smell of chalk, the sound of her school bell, and the thrill of reading stories that took her far away. But poverty has a way of stealing dreams, and tradition can steal childhood. One hot afternoon, Aisha walked into her home and found strangers sitting in the living room. Her mother's eyes were red. Her father couldn't look her in the eyes. Aisha didn't know it yet, but her life had already been decided. That night, Aisha overheard her parents whispering. "We have no choice," her father said. "This is better for her future and ours." At just 13, Aisha became a child bride. No vows spoken from love. No celebration of joy. Only fear disguised as tradition. She was draped in heavy clothes she could barely walk in. Her tiny hands were decorated with henna, while trembling under the weight of a wedding she did not understand. Her childhood ended before it even began. Aisha entered a house where she wasn't seen as a child, but as someone's wife, someone's servant, someone's responsibility. The days became gray, the nights longer. She cooked, cleaned, and worked until her small hands cracked. If she cried for home, she was told, "You belong here now." Her husband was much older. He didn't see the little girl standing in front of him, only the role she was forced to fill. Aisha learned silence. She learned fear. And slowly she started forgetting what happiness felt like. But within every person, even in the darkest corner, there is a spark that refuses to die. One afternoon, while sweeping the courtyard, Aisha heard a voice beyond the wall. It was a woman from a local women's shelter, visiting the area to raise awareness. She spoke about the rights of girls, about laws that protect children, about freedom. Aisha had never heard words like these. For the first time, she realized, this life was not my fault, and it doesn't have to be my future. She began to dream again, not of fairy tales, but of escape. One night, after another painful argument, Aisha made the bravest decision of her life. When everyone slept, she ran. Her feet bled on the rough path. She had no money, no bag, no food. Only hope. She reached the shelter she had heard about. Trembling, exhausted, terrified, she knocked on the door. The woman who opened it looked at her for a moment and understood everything without a single word. For the first time in years, Aisha slept without fear. The shelter helped her file a case. The law protected her. Her forced marriage was annulled. Aisha returned to school. Her hands, once shaking from fear, now held books and pencils again. Her voice, quiet for so long, began to grow stronger. Years later, she did something extraordinary. She became a women's rights advocate, traveling from village to village, telling girls that they are worth more than their circumstances. That education is a right. That childhood is sacred. That courage can change everything. Aisha became the voice she once needed. From horror to hope, from child bride to changemaker, Aisha's story reminds us that no matter how dark life becomes, one brave decision can open the door to freedom. And sometimes, the smallest girl carries the biggest courage. If this story touched your heart, please support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Overview Room. Your support helps us bring more real stories of brave women to the world.